it's Pastor Smith here with another weekly update about what's going on around here at St. Paul. You may be wondering why I have this microphone in front of me. Well, it is because this week we are launching a podcast. Some of you might be familiar with what a podcast is. Others of you are thinking, that sounds like a made-up word. Well, a podcast it's an audio, usually an audio. Ours is going to be audio only, thankfully for you guys. But it's a show that comes out, there's podcasts about all different topics and everything. Ours here at St. Paul is going to be called Beyond the Sermon. And it's going to be a conversation about the sermon that just happened on the weekend. So it's going to come out a few days after that, and it's going to be a discussion about different things about the sermon. How, what was the process by which the sermon came to be? How did the sermon be written? Different questions, maybe interesting tangents about the content of the message. All sorts of things. There's a lot of potential here. Our new DCE, Michael Sinn, is going to be our host of the podcast, and he's going to interview the preaching pastor each week in the days after the sermon to just find out, what are some things, for instance, things that maybe didn't make the cut in the sermon that maybe you were going to talk about. What was easy? What was hard about the sermon? What was meaningful about the sermon for you? Other things, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. Hopefully you guys agree too. But it's going to be a weekly new episode that we're going to be doing. Some of you may already know that we technically have had a podcast for quite some time, but it's just been the audio of the sermon, so the sermon itself. So this is kind of going to be how it's going to be. Mondays, still the audio of the sermon will come out. And then on Wednesdays, typically, this Beyond the Sermon podcast will then be released. One exciting thing, hopefully you'll think this is exciting, is that we will be asking you to submit questions if you'd like to. All this information is going to be below this video, by the way. But we have a special email address that we've used in the past. We're going to kind of resurrecting it. That if you have you heard the sermon on Saturday or Sunday and you think, I've got a question for that pastor, submit it and we will consider responding to that in the episode. Wouldn't that be just a badge of honor for you to have your question included in the episode? Oh, we'll all be famous together then. But look for this. Look for this. We'll have more information about how to find this exactly, but there's going to be a link to the first episode and a way to submit the questions below this email. I'm excited. So you can tune in to hear Michael Sinn and Pastor Josh in the first episode of Beyond the Sermon, a St. Paul Westlake podcast. It's going to be fun. So check that out, and may God bless the rest of your week.